Hi everybody, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my June TBR for you. I am very thrilled with the books selected for June. I can't wait to get to these, but first, June happens to be my birthday month and I am turning a very big number this month, or in June. I'm turning 50, if you can believe that. I don't feel like I'm turning 50. I feel like I'm still, 30 and a big goofball. But yes, I am turning 50 this year. So in honor of my 50th birthday, I have selected 50 books for June. Not really, but maybe this will seem more reasonable compared to that. So we'll see. I have about 12 books or so. My focus really for June is to focus on my 1001 book countdown books. I have been kind of all over the place and reading a ton of different books with the BookTube Prize rounds. And so this month will be my focus on 1001 books. So yay, I'm very excited. Hopefully I'll get caught up. I do have a great mix of books selected for June, and we're gonna jump in. So the first book is actually for my 1001 book countdown. All these books are for the 1001 book countdown. My goodness, this one is for the 1001 book club, which if you're not familiar with that, I'll leave a link to the Discord down below where you can come and join and have a discussion about the books. I'm not super active on Discord, but as far as a way to be able to chat with people about it, I thought it was easier than some of the other ones. So it does have the link is in the description for you though. But the book is The Autobiography of Alice B. Toklas by Gertrude Stein, and then the illustrations are by Mara Coleman. This particular version, the original book was published in 1933, and this version was published in 2020. I love this version so much. I am a sucker for illustrations, and this book is all full of them. I can't wait to read this one because of the illustrations in it. But I picked this one for June because June is also Pride Month, and I wanted to have at least one book on my TBR to help celebrate Pride Month. So The Autobiography of Alice B. Toklas by Gertrude Stein. I promise you I can talk. All right, and count. We'll see. I don't think so. Me and numbers. All right, so book number 2 is The Once and Future King by T.H. White. I am doing this as a buddy read with Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia. I am so excited to get to read this one with her. We have done a couple of other buddy reads, and it's always fun to check in with her. But this one, there are 4 stories in this, and the first story is called The Sword and the Stone. So if you know, is that what the Disney movie The Sword and the Stone was based off of? If so, I'm super thrilled to be able to read this particular one. The one thing with this one is I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it from this edition because this one, the cover or the spine is perfectly pristine, but when you open it, it's so hard to read in the center of this one. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it from this particular edition. We'll see. But The Once and Future King is book number 2. Book number 3 is a buddy read with Heidi from My Reading Life. I spotted this one on her ancient TBR and proposed this as our next buddy read, and she said absolutely, which is always fun. And we will be reading Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood. I am back to these lovely, I think these are Bloomsbury. Yeah, Bloomsbury editions of Margaret Atwood's books. There are initials at the top that spell out Atwood. I actually only have WOOD right now. I can't find the AT or the end of 70. So I'm still looking for them. It's a bit tricky because I want to make sure they're in good condition, but I love the color of this one. This green color reminds me of one of my very good friends who loves this color as well. And the back of this one says, "You don't look back a long time, but down through it like water. Sometimes this comes to the surface, sometimes that, sometimes nothing. Nothing goes away." Cool. But yeah, I will be reading this one with Heidi. So, and I will leave all of these channels linked in the description below for you so you can go and check out their channel if you're not familiar with them. All right, so the next few books, 4 books, which will take me to 7 total off of the countdown, are shorter ones that I am picking up primarily because they're shorter and there's no other real rhyme or reason to it. I don't have a big chunkster for June for the 1001 book countdown, which I'll explain at the end why that is. Certainly not a book the size of 1Q84, which is, massive book. I don't have one of those in June. So yeah, I'm stacking it a little bit to try and get caught up. So we'll see how I do. But the first book is The House of Ulloa by Emilia Pardo Bazan. And this particular one, it says it's one of the greatest 19th century Spanish novels. And it has a character whose name is Julian Alvarez, who goes to, let me just read it because that's easier. The House of Ulloa follows pure and pious Father Julian Alvarez, who is sent to a remote country estate to put the affairs of the Marquis, an irresponsible libertine, in order. When he discovers moral decadence, cruelty, and corruption at his new home, Julian's well-meaning but ineffectual attempts to prevent the fall of the House of Ulloa end in tragedy. Oh, okay. Cool. I love the cover of this one too. But this one is right around 270 pages, but compared to some of these mammoths I've been reading, feels super light. So that's the fourth book from the countdown. The fifth book is super short, The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes. I believe I saw this on AJ Dunn's channel as well, and they thought I would like it, but it is around 150 pages, which is perfect. I don't know anything about it. I don't really want to know anything about it, but The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes. Now I don't remember how many I have here. Okay, so the next book is Home by Marilyn Robinson. This is the second book in the Gilead series, but it's the only one in the 4-part series that's actually on the countdown. So that's really interesting to me too. I'm not sure why this one made it onto the list, but Home by Marilyn Robinson is my next one. And the last one was put on the countdown initially for 2022 because of its title, which is 1004 by Ben Lerner. It got put there because alphabetically, this is the first book. And based on it being based on the title, it comes first when alphabetized. Anyway, so this one is actually published in 2014, which makes it one of the newer books on the list. And so I'm excited to pick this one up. It's also, again, relatively short. I did go through and plot out my books on the 2022 list for the rest of the year. And so have hopefully organized it in a way that means I don't have more than one big chunkster per month and gives me a way to finish all of these books. We'll see how successful I am. I don't like planning it out like that because I like to have a little bit more spontaneity in there for them, but I had to because I just couldn't figure out if I was going to be able to make it through all of those books. So the other books that I have on my list, the first one is for the Up to No Good Book Club, which has AJ Dunn Reads and Writes, Julian at Bookworm Adventure Girl, Shelley Swearingen, Fraser Simon, Springboard Thought, and then we have a few wonderful subscribers and friends, and we will be reading, or most of us will be reading, Young Mungo by Douglas Stewart. They made me pick this month because I didn't finish the Luminaries and I didn't like the Wolf Hall series, and so they made me pick. And so I was between two, and this one was the one that most people wanted to read. So I will be reading Young Mungo. It'll be my first Douglas Stewart. I do have Shuggie Bain, but I have not read it yet. And so I will be reading this one, but I'm excited to pick it up. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good for the group read as well. And then my other goal at the beginning of the year, in addition to reading a new release, which Young Mungo definitely does, was to read at least one nonfiction. And so I don't know if the Autobiography of Gertrude Stein would qualify as a nonfiction. Maybe, but that regardless of that, I do have two books that are calling to me that I really do want to read that I've purchased somewhat recently, and they are both books featuring the outdoors. So the first one is Touching the Void by Joe Simpson. This was recommended to me by Reading with a Vengeance, I believe is the channel name. And so I'm so excited to pick this one up. I really want to watch the movie as well, but I'm thrilled to be able to pick this one up. It's also, again, relatively short, trying to be nicer to myself and select some nice short ones. And then the last one is also a climbing book, which is called The Ledge by Jim Davidson and Kevin Vaughan. This one features a climb that actually happened on Mount Rainier, and I live in the Pacific Northwest, and so this is very close to me. So these two are my two nonfiction ones ones that I am hoping to be able to pick up in June. I do have a couple birthday celebration things planned, going out of town, things like that. So I don't know how I'll do. We'll see if I'll get to all of these or not. But yeah, I think it's a great list. The one other book that there's an event going on in June called June on the Range, which I first learned about from Michael K. Vaughan. And there's a whole bunch of, I believe, a bunch of different hosts for that event as well. And I do have a book, which is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. I will be doing this as a buddy read, though, with Jack over at Spread Bookjoy. I had it written down in June. She had it written down in September. So I think we're leaning more towards September, and it is a chunkster. So we'll see. If Jack came back and said, let's read it right now, I would definitely do that as well. But this is the one why I don't have any other chunky books, because in the event that I want to add this one, I want to be able to have a little bit of flexibility. This one won the Pulitzer Prize, but it is not on the 1001 Book Countdown, which I find fascinating because I've heard so many people talk about this one as being an excellent read. So I'm curious, why? Why is it not? So that would be the other, if I do pick up a Western, that will be the book that I pick up for the Western. And that's really it, just this small stack. It feels smaller to me because of the books that I've had in May were so big, War and Peace and Moby Dick and 1Q84 and The Magic Mountain, that these just feel so much easier. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe they won't be. Maybe I won't be very successful, or maybe I'll just abandon this and read something else. I don't know. Anything is possible at this point. And throwing in the birthday stuff in there, I just don't know how much time I'm going to have. So yeah, that's my June plans. I may pick up another book or two for Pride Month. I have Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin. I definitely have a few other books that would be perfect to read. I have Maurice by E.M. Forrester, and I have The Prettiest Star by Carter Sickles. Any of those would be phenomenal for Pride Month. So we'll see. Depending on how the month goes, whether or not I pick up any of those other books. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you're going to read any of these books, or if you've read them, what you thought of them. And until next time, thanks everyone. Bye.